In the interim, here's other news worth your attention. Business Leadership South Africa is launching a reform tracker to monitor the progress of critical policy reforms impacting South African businesses and the economy. This data-driven tool is aimed at providing a transparent and accountable assessment of these reforms, serving as a resource for stakeholders that are invested in the country's economic future.
The Business Leadership South Africa Reform Tracker tool going live this morning as we see various of role players, including those in government, coming through into Sandton, Johannesburg to form part of this occasion. This described as a very important moment in terms of taking stock of where South Africa finds itself to date, looking at the relationship between business and governance, and also how then we see these reforms championing economic growth. As we speak right now, the country is navigating a point 2 of Operation Vulindlela, and this becoming a vehicle that speaks of these reforms. And this vehicle coming through as we see this tool take stock of some of these developments around governance, around economic justice, but also just taking stock around where we find ourselves with trade relations in the country. I'm going to bring into the conversation with us this afternoon the Deputy Minister of Finance, Deputy Minister Asher Serupen, who'll just give us a sense of the role of National Treasury where this process is concerned. We know very well that this comes as Operation Vulindlela. It's in full swing, but we see the private sector saying it's very important that we put together a tool that will track where we are, where these reforms are concerned. Welcome to the SABC.
Thank you very much for having me. I think it's good to be here today, and I think we welcome this BLSA tool very much. It is another part of the pressure we need in the system to help us get the right kind of economic reforms done so that we can grow this economy, create jobs, and get more people out of poverty and into meaningful employment. And I think that shows that we're all on this journey together as business and government to try to get these goals achieved. And so this is a very, very important day for us.
There have been those overarching criticisms that, we do have plans as a country. The Constitution is an amazing document, but on the ground, we don't see things move. And this economic change, this repositioning of the economic change in the country just becoming a reality for a lot of people on the ground. How do we see these relations just getting better over time? And does this tool come through as that monitoring device that can help push that relation?
Yeah, so I think it is a fair criticism. Of course, the GNU has only been in office for a year now, a year and a month. And this tool shows that when you look at its reporting, that starting this year, the pace of reform has really gained momentum. And what that shows us, the GNU actually is beginning to push on with the right kinds of reforms. And the fact that we are getting positive feedback from the business community, and we see that business confidence is at a 4-month high today as well, tells us that things are beginning to move in the right direction, even if we have some global headwinds. So we're seeing some good green shoots now on the reform program. But of course, there is a lot more to do, particularly in freight rail, particularly in ports, and so on, as was pointed out this morning here with BLSA. And of course, we will keep pushing on to get those reforms done. So the plans haven't gathered dust. We haven't made announcements that we haven't followed through. We have started to push on, particularly in home affairs and skills. We've gone to RFIs on port and freight rail, RFIs on the transmission infrastructure for the country as well. That shows that we are moving onto these reforms, partnering with business and bringing business in so that we can sort out our infrastructure and get our economy moving.
This coming through as well at a time where we are counting down to the National Convention, to the National Dialogue as well, and a lot of people just looking at how this process would help inform where we are going as a nation. As the National Treasury, what is your thinking around this process of dialoguing, but also the convention that is coming this weekend?
Well, obviously the convention is run by the presidency, and it is in the interest of nation building and longer term thinking. Our focus is on seeing through a lot of the reforms and deepening the reforms that we have already so that we can show citizens in any platform, whether it's a dialogue or it is a business meeting or so on, what it is that we are actually doing. And what is the action steps we're taking to create jobs and to get the economy moving, to unlock growth, to help businesses become more competitive in the global economy and in the domestic economy. And that is really our core focus. And hopefully, and whether it is the dialogue, whether it is in any other kind of platform, we can show, and with the things like this tracker and so on, the kind of results that we're achieving. And the further we push on some of the deeper reforms, the more likely we are to get the growth moving. And that would be the kind of report back that we can give to citizens on any platform.
Deputy Minister, thank you very much for joining us. Deputy Minister Siripan, just coming through from the National Treasury, looking at the role of this national tracker by the BLSA, and this is an open platform in terms of how, as South Africans, you can also go there to hold government accountable on some of the deliverables, but also the plans that will be contained in the national policy documents that speak to economic growth. Katla Rodi for SABC News in Sandton, Johannesburg.